Hi everyone, welcome to our third day of our 12 Days of Wellness series here with Ogden Clinic. Today we have a very fun and interactive session with Dr. Rigby. He works here at the Ogden Clinic Medical Weight Loss Group, and he has a lot of great advice for us about how to stay healthy in this upcoming new year. As we know, we start making New Year's resolutions pretty early, and the main one that people tend to do is changing up their lifestyle, being a little healthier, working out a little more. So Dr. Rigby is going to tell us today all his tips and recommendations.
I don't know about all of them. I'll give you a couple. How's that?
So I'll let him introduce himself, kind of what he does, everything he works with, and we'll get started from there.
There we go. So I'm Dr. Rohn Rigby with Ogden Clinic, obviously. Running the metabolic weight loss department, looking at different ways of trying to be healthier, especially at the holiday season. We always kind of struggle, and I always tell people it's a holiday, not a holiday season, because unfortunately we get out of control. But I look at trying to fix your metabolic health or kind of get the weight improving and improve chronic conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, depression, all that type of stuff. Again, focusing on the diet, lifestyle, exercise, sleep, stress management. So we kind of focus on all that. We have two clinics. We have one here in Layton, and then we have a satellite clinic up in McKay. So between the two clinics, we have 3 providers.
Awesome. So let's kind of go ahead and get started with
Okay.
just some common questions that people might have during this time. What is the most common concern people kind of come to you with once the new year starts rolling around?
They want to lose weight because the first year we always think, oh, it's a new beginning, let's start all over, I want to lose weight, which is great, don't get me wrong. And they do it for a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden they fall back off. Part of it is looking at this as a lifestyle. You're not going to change your life all at one time. It takes some time. You have to figure out who you want to be. You want to focus on being that healthier person, not, oh, I'm going to do this dramatically thing for a short period of time and it's going to fix everything. You have to look at this as a lifestyle, and we're going to make little adjustments, little by little. Again, focusing, I call it the 4 pillars: exercise, sleep, not in this particular order, but exercise, diet, sleep, and stress management. We have to look at all those things, and if you feel like there's an area of your body or of your life that's really struggling, either focus there, or you're going, I really want to focus on this one first. Focus on that part. Don't worry about the number on the scale. It'll take care of itself if you focus on those 4 things and improve your metabolic health.
That's awesome. And that's a really good point that you bring up, talking about it being a lifestyle and not just like a short-lived thing. As you know, being on social media, you see a lot of different trends and people saying, lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks, or follow this diet and you can lose this many pounds by Christmas. Why is that unhealthy, and why is that, not something that you would recommend people to follow?
Well, anything drastic, I can cut off your leg and you're going to lose the weight, isn't going to solve your problem. I jokingly say that, but we can do those drastic things, but our goal is to have a healthier life. And I want my patients to live a long time and have a good, healthy life. So missing a leg doesn't make that a life. So doing anything drastic can definitely help, but a lot of times you can't keep that lifestyle doing a drastic thing. And we always have these promises when it comes to weight loss. Do this or give out this. And again, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over. You've got to fix the problem. So we have to try to figure out the problem. But we can't make these big promises. You take this one pill. Don't do anything other than this, but take this pill and you're going to lose weight. We can't promise that. A lot of times it's a diuretic or it's a stimulant making you not hungry, which there are some medications out there that can definitely help, but we have to try to fix the whole body and look at the bigger picture, not just the number on the scale.
Yeah, that's a great point. And talking about, those short-lived versus making it like a whole lifestyle change, I think that's where people get kind of discouraged, where you tell them, it's not going to be an overnight thing. You might not see results in 1 to 2 months. How do you motivate your patients or people that are interested in coming to talk to you? How would you provide them that motivation?
Well, motivation is one thing, but part of it, I start with, how long did it take you to get to this point? So if took you 20 years to get there, you're not going to fix it overnight. So part of it, I jokingly say, I get twice as long to get it off as it was to gain it. So if you've been growing and growing for years upon years, if not longer, It's just going to be a journey. It's not take this pill and I'm going to drop all the weight all of a sudden. It's not going to work that way. We've got to fix the underlying problems, and we've got to fix the metabolic health internally, and the scale will take care of itself. But if we just worry about the scale, again, that's what drives us nuts. It's like, oh, I got to eat less and less and less. Are you hungry? Yes. Let's eat the right thing, not always eat less. But let's fix your metabolic health. But again, don't get me wrong. My goal is to get you to lose weight, but let's fix your health. Let's don't make things worse. And let's don't be losing muscle and losing other things that is actually essential for life.
Right. And talking about things like nutrition, and we often see, it's very common for people to say, you have to work out really hard, you have to basically spend hours at the gym to kind of see results. But the more and more we kind of look into it, we realize it's a combination of nutrition and working out.
I would actually say the biggest thing, I take the adage, you can't outrun a bad diet. So first, you focus on the diet. And again, part of it is trying to figure out the best thing for you. But again, if you have underlying metabolic issues, a lot of times it can be insulin resistance, which is insulin's a hormone that helps regulate the blood sugar, but it's also a growth hormone. So our goal is to at least focus on that and try to get better control. So we've got to change the diet, not just eating less calories, because your body doesn't understand what a calorie is. But we've got to put the right type of fuel into the body and allow some of these hormonal, unfortunately when we talk hormones, we think of our sex hormones, our estrogen, our progesterone, testosterone, maybe thyroid. That's a good start. We've got a lot more other ones we got to look at. So we want to look at it from that perspective. And again, going back a little bit, we talked about social media and we get all these pictures. Unfortunately, what people post doesn't mean it's always the truth. And it doesn't mean they're also healthy. I know there's lots of people out there who will have post things that everybody's quoting, they look great, I want to be like you, and they'll tell you that they feel like crap inside. They're miserable, they're depressed, they feel like they're falling apart, but everybody perceives them as being healthy. So it's not just what's being observed or what you see on the camera or in the photos or in the magazines or on TV or Facebook.
Yeah. Social media definitely has created a very strange culture when it comes to weight loss, but these are all...
And don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Yeah.
It's your journey, not their journey.
Exactly.
Just picking her because she's there.
So let's kind of roll into a couple of myths. You kind of mentioned, it's your own journey, not everyone else's, and I think that's where people kind of forget that just because it worked for someone, it didn't work. It's not going to work for you. So one of the common myths is that, just because they lost weight, I can do it too. Why is that a bad mentality to have when it comes to weight loss?
It's not you can't compare yourself to others. Now, what I would suggest, and that's where social media is actually a good thing, is, I saw my friend do this, or I see this person online who does this. That seems like a good idea. I might want to try it. So there's more information out there, which can be good to give you a better idea of something to try that you haven't tried before. The drawback is now you try it and it doesn't work for you. Well, you figured out what doesn't work for you, or at least the situation you didn't work for you. We might need to tweak it, or it might be the right idea, but you went too extreme, or we need to go a little bit longer. We all want quick fixes. So again, part of it is how quickly, again, fast, but comparing yourself, and again, you might be improving things, but you give yourself 4 weeks to lose weight and you didn't lose any weight. But if you're a diabetic, you're on less medicines, or your blood sugars are going down, or if your cholesterol numbers are improving, or you're improving your fatty liver, or your waist circumference is going down, even though your pant size is the same, but your waist is going down, you're fixing your metabolic health. And unfortunately, we always have a set time. Everybody's body is different.
Right. That's a really good point. Let's kind of go through some more myths that are very common. I did some research online through social media and just kind of Googling things, and they were all very, very much the same throughout the internet. So the first one is eating after a certain time makes you gain weight. And this one was really funny because I used to kind of fall into that. If I eat past 7 o'clock, I'm going to gain more weight than if I ate before 7 o'clock.
Well, there are good studies out there saying if you eat too late, you can gain weight. So if you are doing that, great. But the problem is I hate an arbitrary number, so let's use 7 o'clock. You get home, you get off work at 6. By the time you get home, everything, you walk in the house at 5:50 or 6:55. You got 5 minutes to eat? No, I want you to eat a good, healthy meal. Now, if you eat at that 7 o'clock and now you're getting heartburn and you have a hard time sleeping, yes, we'd like to eat a little bit earlier. So again, part of it is your life. We've got to make it work with your life, and all these different things are trying to figure out what's going to work for you. And if it's causing problems, yes, we don't want you to eat too late, but if that's when your life allows you to, eat, but eat the right things. So it's not always the time. And again, I'm a big fan of what they call intermittent fasting, or having a cutoff point, not just, oh, it's 7 o'clock, I better eat something before it's 7 o'clock. Why? Well, it's going to be 12 hours till I can eat again. Well, I better eat. No, that's the wrong reason to eat. But if you have an arbitrary number, like I usually snack after 7, I'm just sitting around being bored. If I give myself that time, a cutoff at 7 is like, great, it's after 7, I guess I don't eat. So part of it is, it's a tool to try, but don't be so set on that. We've got to figure out what's going to work for you.
Right. Another one that's very common is that fats are bad for you. So people, when they want to lose weight, they tend to kind of steer away from fats. And by fats, sometimes they avoid eating fats that are actually healthy for them, and they miss all those nutrients that they could possibly get from those fats.
So how much time do I have to answer this one? That's a very complex question. So she is correct in the sense not all fats are good or bad for you. So it's a very misnomer when you go, oh, fats are good. There are better fats, more than natural fats, coming from olive oil, avocado oil, the saturated fat from meat, tallow, lard, bacon grease, those types of things. They can be. The reason is, we always talk about the calories, and that's where they get the idea that, oh, calories are bad because fats have more calories. So if we lower the amount of calories, we'll actually lose weight. Well, a calorie is a unit of energy, and we can get into the whole the whole scientific definition, but basically think of it as a unit of energy. Your body doesn't understand what that unit of energy is. I could put in 2,000 calories of simple refined sugars. It's going to bump up your insulin. If you already produce a lot of insulin, you're going to gain weight. But if I put in 2,000 calories of straight fat, which you're not getting all the nutrients you need from that, but you might not be able to eat it all because you're full, and your insulin level is not going to go very high. So it's not as easy cut as, oh, fats are good, fats are bad. It's more of the type of fats. But again, your body needs fat, and there's what we call fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamins you actually have to have in your body to actually, or in your diet to actually, in fact, eat that to actually absorb it. So it's a very long, complex answer. It's not as easy as, oh, good, bad. But again, if the fats are coming from a natural source, again, closer to it, olive oil, like I said. Again, we always say olive oil is number one, it's a monounsaturated fat. It can go bad, so keep that in mind. Saturated fat, and again, we can hold a big discussion on that, but polyunsaturated, but coming from a natural source is a better option than, there is no vegetables that have oil in it, so vegetable oils are actually a man-made thing, so avoid that. That's my one tip on that. Avoid vegetable oil.
Yep, that's a good tip, because most people use that in their kitchen. So
yep,
that's
because
a good
they say it can lower your cholesterol. It also can lead to earlier death.
So there's also been like a big influx of people that are like gluten-free. So we see a lot more gluten-free products at the store. Can you talk a little bit on that? Like I've read about, if you're not gluten-free, it's actually not good for you to eat those products, but people associate them with being a lot healthier than other options.
So gluten is a protein in the wheat flours. And if you have celiac, you basically can cause more inflammation. So those people definitely do a lot better if they do avoid it. But the problem is, in those grains or in that wheat, there's multiple different other proteins that we can actually have inflammatory processes also. So that's part of it, is when we eat some of these things, not always good or bad, but some of the flours that they're actually using to make the gluten things actually can bump your insulin even higher. So I'm not a big fan of that because of how it affects your insulin. But if you're now cutting out gluten and you're doing better with it, again, if it works for you, keep doing it. But don't think that just because I'm having gluten-free, it's actually a lot healthier for you.
Right.
That's a simple-ish answer.
Right. And then the last myth that I have is that dietary supplements are necessary for you to be healthy. So there's also that kind of misconception about taking these supplements because they make you a lot healthier. What is your take on that?
Well, you have to be more specific on the supplements. So that's the problem is, do you have to take supplements? No. But there are some supplements out there that can help in a little bit. And again, it depends on how you want to look at supplements. Like taking a multivitamin can be beneficial. Taking vitamin D, especially in Utah, we always say because it's a higher elevation. It's actually because it's colder, we're not out in the sun. But another tip, we don't eat a lot of fat. So eat more fat to your diet, actually be on the sun. I know the dermatologists don't like it when I say get out in the sun. Not for a long period of time, but at least 30 minutes a day can definitely help. But if you're not doing that, or if you work swing shift, or you're never seeing the sunlight, adding some vitamin D could definitely help. Adding some fish oil could be beneficial. If you have insulin resistance, there are some that can help, but can you overdo it on supplements? And do you have to have supplements? No. Can you change your diet enough to get some of that? Yes. And actually improve things? Yes. But if you're struggling, supplements can be a stepping stone.
Right.
But unfortunately, we can overdo it on supplements and have really expensive pee.
Right.
So.
Those were all the myths I had. Is there any other advice or tips you would have for people that are going to start in that lifestyle change journey, moving into the new year, as we know it's approaching quickly?
The new year's coming. So a couple of things. One, maybe spend some extra time trying to figure out where you want to go. Where do you want to go in the next few months, few years, whatever, to kind of get a better idea of where you want to go. So if you know where you want to go, it makes it easier, the steps to take there. To look at Ogden Clinic, call the clinic. We have the 2 different locations, different numbers, that type of stuff. So there's somebody in the clinic 3 days a week. For me, it's a little bit farther out. I'm about 6 weeks out. Again, people like to come see me. But I have 2 nurse practitioners. I have 2 what they call mid-levels, a PA and a nurse practitioner that we can probably get you in. But it's still going to be a few weeks. And again, don't feel like you have to race out and do it now, especially if you know you're not going to make a big changes. But after the first of the year, we are here to help you. And again, we have lots of different tools to help improve things, to help your overall health, to help with your metabolic health. And if you don't feel good, we're here. Even if you don't have a lot of weight issues or another struggle that some people have, if they've already had weight loss surgery and they're still struggling, we can help with that too.
Awesome. It looks like some people are saying we lost sound.
That means I get to repeat this again.
Can everyone hear us now?
I would say that's a no. I can yell a little bit louder.
Oh, it looks like we're on now.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to just repeat what you said, how people can contact you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Rigby. We'll go back to So, a couple of things to get a hold of us. There's 2 clinics, one in Layton and also at McKay-Dee. I'm usually, well, actually after the first year, our schedule is going to change a little bit. But basically, we have 2 different clinics. We're here to help you. We focus on chronic conditions, be it diabetes, heart disease, weight issues, especially if you have more of the belly fat, or even women with belly fat, or if you've already had weight loss surgery, be it a lap band, gastric sleeve, or basically the partial gastrectomy, or having a Roux-en-Y or duodenal switch, and you're struggling with weight loss, we can see and help with that too. We have have 2 dietitians. We also have a life coach. So we're trying to help you from a variety of different angles to kind of give you the tools that you might need. Everybody's a little bit different. Again, it's not a set plan because everybody's different, but we do have some basic ideas that we think can help you. But again, everybody's different, so we're here to help you.
That's awesome. So if you're interested in seeing anyone here at Ogden Clinic Medical Weight Loss, you could always give them a call, but I will put their website. They have a really good website that kind of breaks down everything that they do and everyone that works here. I'll put that in the comments of the event. That way, if you are interested in learning more about them, you can go there. They also do have social media if you're interested in following them. They post some tips, some advice occasionally. That's Ogden Clinic Medical Weight Loss on Instagram and Facebook. But I'm going to open it up for questions. If anyone has any questions for Dr. Rigby, we'll give you all the opportunity, and he will answer them, obviously, with all the knowledge he has. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. We'll kind of hang out a little. I know some people may take a while to type, but we are here to answer them for you.
Me, I'm horrible at that stuff.
Let's see if we get any questions. So why don't you tell us about, while we wait, see if anyone has any questions, why don't you tell us about your New Year's resolutions? Do you have any for the upcoming year?
My New Year's resolutions are a couple of things. Again, depends on which aspect. And that's one thing we always come up with like 3 or 4. There's probably multiple different aspects of your life to look at, be it health-wise, be it job-wise, be it your relationship-wise. If you have kids, relationship with them. It might be financial. So again, it's kind of hard. It's kind of focused on those particular areas. But for me, probably trying to be a little bit more physically active, just because, again, not that I'm always losing weight, but just trying to be a little bit more, making me a higher priority, since I've been trying to grow a practice and trying to get people going in that direction. So that's one of mine, is trying to focus more on my health.
Awesome. Looks like we do have a question. It says, anyone in the clinic have a specialty with PCOS management? Is that something you would all work with?
Yes. We do have somebody who can, and all 3 of us can do a little bit. And again, we're in the process of trying to hire somebody else and train them also. So yes, we can help deal with PCOS, and that's one of the underlying issues that people don't always talk about, but actually the lifestyle actually fixes it more than medicines.
Awesome. Let's see. Second question is, how do you determine if your body is insulin resistant?
That's a good question. How long do I have to answer that one? So, a couple of things. If you have more of that bigger belly, it could be part of it. If you have that question about PCOS, you have insulin resistance. If you have type 2 diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, if you have cholesterol issues, if you have a history, if you're a female, if you gained a lot of weight in pregnancy, if you gave birth to a large baby, if you have what we call skin tags, it can be anywhere on your body, but a lot of times on the neck. Or you can also have a little darker, almost like it's dirty aspects on your neck. Big fancy term called acanthosis nigricans. No, you do not need to remember the name. But basically that can be a sign of insulin resistance. Joint pain. Let's see, irregular menstrual cycles. Feeling very tired after eating a meal. Feel like your blood sugar is dropping. Hypoglycemic, what we always call it, type of events, all can be part of insulin resistance. Not all inclusive, but those definitely show signs of insulin resistance.
Awesome. Yeah, that was good. I know you talked about that a lot, so I'm sure people were kind of wondering how. The third one is, what is the best way to get off sugar once you become addicted again? Is it best to avoid even one-made keto desserts? Or what do you do with sweet cravings?
Couple of things. One, yes, it's easy for us to say get off of it. Part of it, if you can do it right away and give it up, great. But even the low carb / keto treats still can trigger cravings. It still has a sweetener which still can bump up your insulin level a little bit, but also can trigger some of the craving aspects. So if you can get off of it or back off, but at least trying to taper down can definitely help. A couple of things that can help. One, understand those cravings usually last for a short period of time. So can I go for a walk? Can I be distracted? Can I get on Facebook and go scroll for a little bit? Maybe drinking some more water. Maybe adding some sea salt can help with cravings. If not, maybe adding, if you're going to eat something because you're going, I'm craving, maybe it's sugar, but if I eat some protein and or fat, if it's true hunger, it'll go away. If it's cravings, they might not. And that's where if those things and some other skills or tips and tricks we can give you, if that's not, sometimes we need to do supplements or medications to help with that. Because it's easy to say, just stop it. It's hard to do because it's everywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Especially with the holidays.
Okay, it doesn't look like we have any more questions. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we hop up?
We are here to help you whenever and however you feel like you need help, especially if you feel like you're not seeing what you'd like or you just don't feel good. Again, there's a lot of things that can correlate with, again, I'll focus on the insulin first, but if you feel like your thyroid's off, if you feel like some of those hormones are off a little bit, we're here to help. We're not trying to replace your doctor or replace other Ogden Clinic providers, but we're just here to help give a different approach to, again, focus on that lifestyle to see if that'll improve, and if not, use some medicine. But we are here to help. But again, keep it in mind during the holiday season. I always tell people three things. One, enjoy it or have fun. Second, just be more mindful about your eating. I'm not saying you have to be perfect. Like, I can't eat it. Yeah, you might be able to. But then third, after the holidays or after that party's over, get back to what you're trying to do. Try to be more mindful about what you're doing, not just responding to it. Be mindful about it.
That's awesome. That is great. And I think a lot of people want to hear that right before the holidays, to not be so hard on themselves. So that was all we have today for the live. If you do have any more questions or you happen to watch this later on in the day, tomorrow if it pops up on your feed, feel free to leave questions down in the comments below, and I will make sure to pass them along to Dr. Rigby and his team, and we will get those answered for you. But thank you so much for joining us today on this live. Tons of great information. I'm sure many people will benefit from this live today. So thank you so much, Dr. Rigby.
No problem.
Have a great day, everyone.